Nope.
Gentlemen, Sergeant Moose here, back with another The Texas Chain Saw Massacre video, and in today's video, guys, we're going to talk about the ultimate Hitchhiker build, at least the build that I like to use, man. We rack up a ton of kills with this build. We're going to break it down for you, kind of describe what kind of perks we're running for it, and how this thing is put to use. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright guys, first things first, we're going to talk about how the Hitchhiker should be used, at least with this build, and then we're going to go over his ability and his perks. So obviously, we know that Hitchhiker comes with traps. He comes equipped with 3, and placed in the right locations. They're going to trap the victims, and then you can take them out. So, as you can see here, we have this ability perk to level 3. It does not have to be level 3 for this build to work properly, guys. So if you're not quite there yet, you're still grinding, it's going to be okay. But coming up the perk tree here, we have the breaking free of traps. We chose that as 19% more difficult. Then we come over here to increases the speed of setting traps by 20%, so you can get them traps down a lot faster. Especially now, we're almost a week into the game. The victims are starting to rush Grandpa awake and get upstairs, so you want to get them traps down as quick as possible. Now we come up here. This is the bread and butter, of course, for this ability. When the victim is snared by the trap, all the family members are going to be able to see where that victim's at being snared, just like the cook whenever he spots somebody. So, level 3, we have the snared activated for you and the whole family to see. So that's very important. So if you're grinding Hitchhiker, I highly recommend, obviously, getting that ability to level 3. Now coming over here, guys, another absolutely much needed perk for the Hitchhiker, I think probably with any build that you're going to be running with him, is the wireframe unique traversal ability. Now, as you can see, guys, level 3, you can traverse gaps 40% faster and crawl spaces 60% faster. So when you're pursuing Hitchhiker, when you're pursuing the victims, I should say, with Hitchhiker, you want to stay on them. You don't want to lose your line of sight from them. You want to keep on them and keep pressuring them to make a mistake. This is what's going to make that even easier, because as they're traversing the gaps, you're going to be able to traverse them a lot faster than them and gain ground on them every single time they go through one. So wireframe, we're going to come to that, and of course I'm going to show you the skill tree, guys, after we're done looking through these perks. Now, you can switch this one out if you'd like. However, I feel like it definitely helps the Hitchhiker in terms of damage. You have to take as many hits to get the survivors down. Of course, the level 3 on it is 20%. When carrying a full blood vial, you're going to do 20% more damage. Now, this Hitchhiker is not built for blood harvesting, so it's going to help if you have a teammate, maybe a cook, maybe a Sissy or Johnny, that is built for blood harvesting so they can kind of feed Grandpa, because that's not going to be your main focus with him. Sure, if you need to get Grandpa to a level, you're full on blood, you can go ahead and do that. You're going to lose the 20% extra damage, but if you have to, you have to, but it's not a blood harvesting build, so don't focus on that with this. Next is another absolutely massive broken perk in this game, guys, and not only should be used for Hitchhiker, but for others as well. I could see it being good with the cook as well on a different cook build, but this is fired up. As you can see at level 3, after running out of stamina, there's a 90% less delay before stamina starts regenerating again. But here's the thing, guys. That's not just if you run out of stamina. All you have to do, if your stamina gets low, is just stop running for just a second, and it's going to fill back up ridiculously fast. So, if you're hitting a survivor, if you're chasing a survivor, you're just about to run out of stamina, just stop and delay for a second, and that stamina bar is going to increase super fast, and then you're going to be able to pursue them again. That's what makes Fired Up one of the best perks, I think, for Hitchhiker in the game right now. I don't know if it's a bug, but it will regenerate 90% with a less delay, even if you don't run out of stamina, so keep that in mind. Now for the Grandpa perk, this is interchangeable as well, but I do go for the critical doors and gates are highlighted for 5 seconds if opened. It helps out a lot, especially being Hitchhiker. I can get over to that area really quickly. Attributes. Now you can see here, I have 3 on blood harvesting. You might be asking why. Why do I have just 3 on blood harvesting? I could put it in Savagery or Endurance. It doesn't make any sense. Well, here's the thing. With the 3 in blood harvesting, it allows me to carry a maximum of 100 blood. And of course, as you know, 100 blood will give Grandpa a full level. Anything less than that, I'm not going to be able to level Grandpa. So, I allow it to get me to 100 blood just in case we're in a pinch. We have Grandpa level 4 and I need to desperately get him to level 5. I'll have that amount of blood, or even at the start, if the teammates aren't feeding him, I can kind of get him boosted up, get him going, get him leveled up. So we're using the 3 on blood harvesting to get us to 100 overall blood that we can carry, and of course the rest, all of it is going into Savagery, because we don't really have to worry about endurance because we're running the fired up perk. That's where the fired up perk comes into play. We don't have to worry about endurance too much. But this is the build in a nutshell, guys. Now I want to talk a little bit about the Hitchhiker and how we play him. So when the game first released, when not a whole lot of people really knew what they were doing, I was taking the Hitchhiker and I was trapping the battery, the generator, things like that. I would honestly say you can still do that, but I wouldn't recommend going out of your way to trap both of those because the victims are getting smarter. They're tending to go for the fuse box. I've noticed that's been the meta pretty much in the game. Most of the escapes that I have seen or against me have been fuse box escapes in the basement, and that's where the Hitchhiker, of course, comes in handy. First thing you want to do, I think, at the start of the match is, of course, get into the house or wherever you're at, find that fuse box, get that thing trapped because the victims are going to try to rush the basement, come upstairs, and immediately go for that fuse most of the time. But, of course, you're still going to have to keep an eye on your gates, your batteries, your generators, and, of course, that's where fired up again is going to come in handy because you're going to have enough stamina to get back and forth to check everything. So, yeah, guys, when you're setting traps, I mean, it's okay if you want to do the generator or battery, that's fine, but I personally recommend trapping the fuse box. That is a must. You must do that with Hitchhiker. You must trap the fuse box. Also, ladder locations where they can come up out of the ladder. That seems to be a popular escape spot for one thing because Leatherface cannot get up the ladder. So a lot of folks tend to go up ladders, trap them ladders. I have caught countless individuals in traps coming up ladders. Very important, ladders, fuse box, even a pressure valve, or, the pressure valve where they put the valve on and actually start it up. That might not be a bad idea, too. But you're just going to have to be smart about it and think about where you're setting your traps. So let's come on over to the skill tree, guys, and I'll show you how we got these 3 perks. So coming over here, we're going to take right side. And as you guys can see, right here is our Violent perk. Now, this is a random perk. So you're going to want to keep rolling this until you get Violent. This perk is amazing with the Hitchhiker. And of course, we can't carry a huge amount of blood. So it's really not going to take us a whole lot of blood to get completely full. But once you are full, you're going to want to hold on to that blood as long as possible. That way you're damaging these survivors as much as possible. Now we're just going to go around the skill tree. We're going to come on up. We're going to take a left here. And we're going to come up here. We'll take a right here, come up middle, and right here is wireframe. I feel like every Hitchhiker on any kind of build you're doing with them, whether it's blood harvesting, savagery, endurance, whatever it is, I feel like you need to have wireframe on Hitchhiker because this is what makes him shine. Hitchhiker and Sissy are made to go through gaps and crawl spaces and keep the pressure on the victims. So, wireframe here. Then we're going to keep coming up. We're going to make a right up here. We're going to come up here. There's our exterior alarms. That's our Grandpa perk that we're using. Come on up here. Make a left. I'll expand this skill tree out too, guys, so you can get a big, so you can kind of see it bigger. But we came up here just to grab these extra attribute points and the perks. But this is pretty much the route we take to get all 3 of these perks. Of course, we got the wireframe there. Well-fed youngins, we got fired up here. So all this route will get you these 3 perks, and I think they are absolutely amazing for Hitchhiker. I've been having a lot of success with this build. It's working pretty well. We'll go ahead and expand this out as well so you can kind of see the tree for yourself. It's all right side. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is our tier 3 Hitchhiker build. I like to call it an ultimate Hitchhiker build because it kind of gives him a little bit of everything. It gives him damage. Of course, he already has the endurance, but it gives him more endurance. And as long as you're setting traps in the right locations, communicating with your teammates, you'll be able to win some of these games and get some kills. So with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That is our Hitchhiker guide. If you guys have any suggestions, of course, I obviously don't know everything. The game's not even a week out, so If you guys have any suggestions on maybe something better or something you like to go with your Hitchhiker, please let me know in the comments, because I got 5 loadout spots, guys. I could do something else, so let me know. But with that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. My name's Sergeant Moose. If you did, feel free to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.